too. Oh, aren't they amazing? I can't wait to work on them. Really, I'm so looking forward to Advent. Hello everybody, here is Anna, also known as Anna Knitter. You can find me at annaknitter.com. Everything I talk about is whether linked or described in the description box below. Sometimes you have to click on the words "see more" and then the whole description box will open. As always, this video is divided into chapters. That means you can skip the parts you are not interested in, or you can find later on where you stopped watching. Today I have finished objects to show you. Some, gift knitting. I think gift knitting is the theme of this episode and Advent. So I have finished objects, works in progress to show with you. I have shop updates to show you. You can see already behind me the sneak peek of the new Opal collections. I want to talk to you about my Advent knitting plans, Advent calendars. So I try to be good and finish everything before Advent comes around so I can enjoy my scrappy projects. I want to showcase you my temperature blanket. And I have 2 Ask Me Anything questions left over from, I think there are only 2 left over, but I will answer today 2 of your questions. And is there anything else? No, but I think, oh, and the word of the day. The word of the day is also a part of this episode. So let's start. Whew. Oh, and an acquisition. Maybe I should show you the acquisition first because I'm pretty sure I will forget it. It arrived today. It is partly for the shop. Let's say it this way. I always wanted to have one, but always thought, oh no, just for you, private use. But now for the shop, I have an excuse to buy this. I will show you the package. Here you see. Yes, it is the electric ball winder by Ashford. There was another company that was suggested, but unfortunately the product I wanted to buy was out of stock. No, not out of stock. It was discontinued. So my second choice was the Ashford electric ball winder. Maybe I will find the time today to set it up and show you a little video. Definitely it will be part of Vlogmas because I can't wait to use it and to show you how this works and if it destroys your yarn. That means not yet, but very soon I will be able to offer you in my shop to ship the hand-dyed skeins already wound, so you don't have to do this. And that means I can do something for the shop next year. I really want to do. It has something to do with minis and clubs and countdowns and advents. I can't wait. I'm still working on some ideas. I hope to be able to offer you start to offer you in January. So the electric ball winder was my latest acquisition. And now we do the right order. Finished objects. Okay. The first finished object is a Christmas present, and it was a relatively quick knit. It's a pair of mittens. You have seen one of the mittens in the last video, and these are the world's simplest mittens by Tin Can Knits. It's a free pattern for pretty much every yarn weight. It has you covered for every yarn weight and pretty much every hand size. I used worsted weight yarn and weight 4mm needles, DPNs, and the yarn is called Raggegarn von Moase. It's a Norwegian/Danish yarn, so I have no idea how to pronounce this. I enjoyed working with this thick yarn because I usually don't knit so much with thicker yarn than fingering weight, and it was fun to do because mittens aren't my most favorite thing to knit, or gloves or fingerless mitts, whatever, but that was enjoyable. So maybe I can move forward to thinner yarn and see how I enjoy this, and then maybe colorwork. Maybe. I really like the colorwork mittens, but I'm a little bit frightened that I do all the work and afterwards they won't fit because my strands, are too tight also. Yeah. I'm a frightened knitter. I'm a fearful knitter, yeah. Okay, here are the mittens. And it will be a Christmas present. I was asked for mittens already 1 or 2 years ago, and now they are finally done. The next finished project, I always call it a finished project, although it's not really technically a finished project, is my block for my Cozy Memories blanket. I know I sound like a broken record, but I have many new viewers every now and then. So I always explain the same things. I hope you don't mind. I do the Cozy Memories blanket, just normal 40 stitches and, you know, decreasing until you have only 2 stitches left. Then I knit squares 5 by 5 and frame it with white yarn, and in the end I attach the big color squares to each other, so I have a blanket. Because I don't like the craziness of Cozy Memories blanket so much, because the most yarns I have left over are sock yarns, and these are usually self-striping sock yarns. If you have an equal amount of tonals or speckled yarns and self-striping, and you can place them mindfully, it can be very pretty. But because I have many, in this case not so many, in this case actually not so many, most of my yarns are very stripy like these, and with the decreases, in my opinion, it looks even busier, as if I had knit a square, you know, cast on, knit X amount of rows, cast off, because then you always have the same striping. But it's due to the decreases, there's going on so much, you know what I mean? It's just a feeling, it's my aesthetics. I can't change it. That's the way I am. And I don't like it so much when there are so many next to each other, and then also in different colors. I will show you another project you have seen before, where I did something that keeps it tidy, although I only use self-striping yarn. So I would like to knit a normal Cozy Memories blanket without having to knit the border, and the picking up is always a little bit annoying, and then this crocheting together, it's easier than sewing. But I envy all the people who just enjoy the process of only adding another square without anything fancy to do. But my yarn stash doesn't allow. My yarn stash plus my aesthetics don't allow this to do this. I'm sorry. But I haven't given up. I haven't given up the idea of making a normal Cozy Memories blanket. But this is my finished block. I took this with me to the vacation. So we traveled Austria, Vienna. We lived in Vienna for a few days, and Bavaria. We were by the sea, which is called Chiemsee. I think the last time I was by the Chiemsee, I was in kindergarten. I love Bavaria so much. When I was a teenager, I was so stubborn, and I thought, oh, the Bavarians, they are so traditional, and they think of themselves higher than of other people and so on. And now I fell in love with not now, just recently, since I'm a grown-up, I appreciate Bavaria for everything they do. Not lately the politics, but in general, the Bavarians are very lovely people, and have so many traditions. They have so much culture. We in the Eastern Germany have no culture at all. Northern Germany has nothing. If someone would ask me, what is typical Northern German? So for example, to eat, or if I visit Northern Germany, what should I do? There isn't really anything besides eating fish and visiting the North Sea. So I'm coming from Northern Germany. Now, okay, now it's Grünkohl time. It's our special meal, so to say. I miss very much. But the Bavarians, they have their traditional garments we call Tracht, and their feasts, and many of them still go to church and celebrate all the feasts very traditionally, the church feasts and so on. Have very many Vereine, clubs, I don't know. So okay, but I'm rambling and I'm digressing very much. I was knitting in Bavaria a lot on this because in Vienna we were very busy meeting friends and doing stuff and going out and sightseeing, and I enjoyed this project so much. I wasn't knitting on my Halloween sock, not at all, but I think I was in the 2 weeks or 10 days of vacation. I think I knit 3 or 4 rounds on my Halloween socks. I will show you later. And that is why I made so much progress. If I go on like this, I could have this blanket done. Can you see this? No, it's in the shelf there, but you can't see it. I could have this done by March or maybe April. And then I can start something else. Okay, it's so much fun. Thanks to my blanket buddies and the Knit Along, Anna's Knit Club. Then this month prompt is knit as many squares, or make as many squares as you can. And my next finished object is a half finished object. I finished yesterday in the evening. It's the last official Christmas gift. I have another sock going. If I can manage to finish it by Christmas, I have another gift in addition, but this is the last knitted gift I want to have done because I planned already to gift it, and it's another pair of Helgen socks. It's my pattern. It's one of my favorite sock knitting patterns, and not only from my patterns but sock knitting patterns in general, because it's so much fun and addictive, so that you make a good amount of progress in a shorter time. At least in my experience, I make quicker progress if I knit Helgen socks than knitting a vanilla sock. Interesting. This yarn is Opal yarn from the Holiday collection, and I think the colorway was something like with Coastline or so. Did I write it down? No, sorry. Maybe I can write it on the screen if I remember. I had this in my shop, and this was the last ball that was left over, and I thought that is a sign from above. You have to knit this, and I took it for myself. It's a men's size sock, 64 stitches, 2x2 ribbing. By the way, you can knit all sock patterns. Okay, now I can't really say about foreign sock, so other designers, because maybe you knit toe up or other heels and toes, or I don't know, so I can't. But if you knit traditional socks, like with heel flap and gusset and a normal toe and cuff down, you can knit all your sock patterns, especially the ones I have designed, with every yarn weight. So I have this sock knitting table for fingering weight, sport weight and DK weight yarn. Or in other words, in German words, 4-ply, 6-ply and 8-ply yarn, because that's kind of sock yarn we have, which is common in Germany. So if you want to knit the Helgen socks and think, oh, it's written for fingering weight yarns, but I can't crank out another pair of fingering weight socks for Christmas or St. Nicholas, just knit them in DK and use the numbers and measurements from my sock knitting table. You can knit all your patterns now, all your stitch patterns at least, with my sock knitting table. I just wanted to give you the hint, because sometimes is it overestimate? We think we can do more than we actually can, and want to knit a pair of socks for everyone in our family in fingering weight yarn, and that is crazy in many situations, and especially for Christmas, you know, we all want to make so much in December. So this is the first sock. Did I show you maybe I should show you the foot, so you see the pattern of the yarn, the colorway of the yarn. It's very regular stripy. It's very pretty. It's very, very pretty. And Opal is doing such a good job with, so the last years, with their colorways, because when I started knitting, at least, yeah, when I started knitting, at least the yarns that were available in the stores I saw were very bold, had very bold colors and very high contrasts, and yeah, the pattern names were numbers, the tags were boring, and I think Opal understood what we like, and the Americans had that first. For example, creative colorway names. Every collection has a theme now from Opal, and they have very nice names, not only color numbers. And the tags are, I will show you the tags from the other two collections. They are always themed. I like that very much. These are the small things we appreciate, you know? You don't need them. I don't need a fancy name. I don't need a fancy tag. I don't need that. But it's a nice to have. And it's motivating me more to buy their yarn or work with their yarn. I don't know how you do this, or how do you think about it. You can write it in the comments down below. Okay, that moves us to works in progress. Let's go on with the teeny tiny bit of progress on the second sock. I started this in the morning, and today is my husband's birthday, so I was preparing something for him, and we had breakfast together, and I gave him his presents and so on. That means less knitting time on the socks, but that's no problem. I think I started this. I'm a very slow knitter. I love to watch the Crazy Sock Lady, and she's cranking out so many things. I can't believe it in such a short amount of time. So I started this sock. I'm recording this on Thursday, and I started this on Friday or Saturday. Okay, let's say I worked on one sock 6 days, and I prioritized this sock. I didn't knit so much as usual because I was very tired in the evenings, but still. So I think usually I need 2 weeks to finish a pair of socks, fingering weight. So this will be priority this month. I would like to have this done before Advent starts, and every Advent starts on, is it the 27th? I don't have a phone or calendar with me now. Is it the 27th or the 25th of November? Well, the last Sunday of November is the first Sunday of Advent, and that is, I would like to start the only an Advent scrappy fun projects. Not that this is not fun. I love to knit for other people, but I was knitting quite a bit for other people now, and also for the shop, and that is also different knitting. I also enjoy the shop knitting, but there is something, if you have a deadline, you don't have the freedom to just say, up, drop the needles, I start something completely different now. Or if you see something inspiring in the internet and you want to just immediately cast on, or you receive lovely minis, or you know what I mean. I think you all know what I'm talking about. The next work in progress is my next sock pattern, which is free. The first 4 weeks it will be only available in the Blocked magazine, which is a free knitting magazine. So as soon as as soon as the magazine is published, I will let you know on Instagram and my newsletter. It's the best way to stay informed and updated, by the way. Just subscribe to my newsletter on my website and on knita.com, and I will always keep you updated on that. And after 4 weeks I will put it on my website as well. So yeah, but I can recommend reading the Blocked magazine. It's interesting, and you have always several patterns and interesting articles, and yeah. Okay, and the work in progress is this free pattern, a sock. I knit with 6-ply yarn, so with wait, yeah, with yarn like this. This is 6-ply. This is sport weight. Sorry, 6-ply is sport weight, and this is DK. And I knit with sport weight yarn because I thought it's a nice idea to put out a sport weight sock before Christmas, so you can crank out a new sock. And I can't show you. Here's the yarn. It's from another collection. It's not this collection. And I can't show you because it's a surprise. 3/4 of the leg is done, and the pattern is only on the leg, and the foot is completely in stockinette. Wait, I try not to spoil you. Here's the heel. So it's not only a thicker yarn, sport weight yarn. It also has it's a very easy pattern, I promise, but effective. You can also knit nice, I don't know how are these called, like cut-off sleeves. Are they called mittens as well? No. Well, you can knit them into this, and the pattern is only on the leg, so you are even faster done with the sock because the foot is only stockinette stitch. Yeah, thicker sock and pattern only on the leg. So I'm 3/4 done with the. Is that okay to say that? 3/4 of the leg are done, and that is the pattern. And I still pay much attention because I wrote I was knitting the sock, then I wrote down the first sock, then I wrote down the pattern, and now I'm test knitting with the second sock. So I always check every row of the repeat. I think it's a 19 row repeat all in all. And yeah, so I'm slower. This is my work knitting. And this will be done by the end of the month, so I can take a lovely picture for Neil for the blog magazine. And the next work in progress is my Halloween sock, my second pair of Halloween socks. I didn't work so much on them. It's a pity because it's from the Opal subscription. And it's the first ball I started from the last shipment. And the next shipment will be here in 1 month. My very first subscription I received, I always receive 6 balls, 4 times a year. And my first subscription was completely knit up before I received my second subscription. But I was only knitting socks. So now I'm designing and do other stuff. Here is my sock. It looks very narrow and tiny because of the nature of the stitch. Unfortunately, it's a free pattern, but the designer hasn't answered my request so I offered her to translate it to English so you can knit it, because I think you would enjoy it very much. I don't know what I could do. I don't know if I allowed to give the stitch pattern away in English in the notes of my project page on Ravelry, for example. I mean, it's a free pattern, but I would like to give her the credits. But she doesn't answer my. Maybe she has an email address. I would check this out. Okay, I did the first few rounds in a contrasting yarn by Opal. Looks like a text marker, but it's not the neon. The neon is even more brighter. It's brighter. Then I went on with the cuff and the lovely pattern. It's very easy. It's I don't know if this is a thing in English. You know, you have brioche, and in German we have brioche and half brioche, but we call it patent and halb patent. So I don't know. This is half brioche, so to say, halb patent. Only over the side stitches. So this is the way how it looks on the leg. It stretches very well. That's why I only cast on 60 stitches. And here's the contrasting heel. And now that I'm holding this in my hand, I want to knit on it. But I have to finish the other sock first. And that is everything. So I have not even started the second sock yet. I knew I wouldn't finish it by Halloween. I still have this in my Halloween bag. Because of traveling and so on. And gift knitting. But I should finish this. I also knit this for the knit along in the Opal subscription group on Ravelry, so yeah. And the next knit along starts from the Opal subscription starts on New Year's Day, so I have to hurry a little bit. The last work in progress I can show you is my Pearl Soho bandana, and they are hosting a knit along. So I haven't participated yet, in that sense that I haven't posted a photo of it yet. And I think I have to finish it to be able to win something. But I started this, I had this on my mind since I received the yarn. And I think I received the yarn last year for, was it last year? For Christmas by Kathleen. And I knew when I received it, I want to knit this bandana. But I started now, and it happens to go along with their knit along. So here is, I don't know if I showed you this progress already. If so, I'm sorry. I actually don't know how much I still have to knit, but it can't be so much. Here's the skein. I have another skein, and I hope I can make a head out of it. It's very pretty. And here's my stitch, is it a stitch marker? Yeah, stitch marker for marking the beginning of the round. I'm using US 10 needles, 6mm, and this is the Dreams Knit Pro Symphony set. It's the same as this. No, I'm using the Dreams, but Dreams are the same needles as the Symphony. The only difference are the colors, because here every needle size has another color. It's very exhausting to knit with those thick needles. I mean, US 10, 6mm is like, you can kill a vampire with them, you know. It's very thick and I'm not used to it. And my hands get very exhausted easily. I haven't touched it in a while, so I don't know if I made progress since last time showing. And in my homespun house bag. Now let's come to the word of the day. And the word of the day is Advent. So it's not really a German word. It's more a Latin word. And you have this in English as Advent. You just pronounce it differently. What is Advent? Advent is the Latin word for arrival. Arrival of whom? Jesus. The Advent season is only the season, so the time span of the 4 weeks before Christmas, the 4 Sundays before Christmas. So Advent does not start on December 1st. I know many people think that, but it's not the case. It depends on the weekdays. So from, if you look up when Christmas is, so the 25th, then count 4 Sundays back, and this first sorry if you count back, the 4th Sunday is the first Sunday of Advent. So, or just Google first Sunday of Advent 2022, and I don't know the date now. It's next week. So today is Thursday, the 17th of November, and next week is the first Sunday of Advent. So it means arrival, because it's we celebrate and we remember the first arrival of Jesus Christ, when God became human, and we await his second arrival. Many people forget about that. So he promised he will come back one day, and that is something we are waiting for as well when we celebrate Advent. I talked with a few members of the Anna's Knit Club, because I came across the phenomenon that many people call Advent calendars Advents. So I thought the Americans like to abbreviate a lot and I thought it's just a short form. But then I heard that some people also call the countdowns, the yarn countdowns for Halloween, for example, Halloween Advents. and I was very confused. So in German we make a difference between Advent, Advent, and Adventskalender, Advent calendars, okay? So Advent is only the season of the 4 weeks before Christmas. Yeah. Word of the day, Advent, because Advent is here so soon. I'm looking forward to it so much. And the Adventszeit, it's very difficult to pronounce for me now as a German, although I learned it this way because I lived 11 years in Austria and they say Adventzeit, Adventkranz. And we in Germany say Adventszeit, Adventskranz. We have the letter S between two. We often use the letter S as a kind of glue between two words. If we put two words together, we often put an S in between. And it's so difficult to pronounce now because in Austria no one does this, and you don't make friends so easily if you do this in Austria. And now I think the Austrians are right. It sounds weird to say Adventskalender, Adventskranz. So what was I going to say? Oh yes, I was going to say that the time of Advent should, in my opinion, you can do whatever you want, never feel offended by anything I say. It's just for me and my family and how I grew up and so. Advent shouldn't be as good as Christmas. Because in the Catholic Church, the Advent season is kind of a Lent season, but no one really goes on Lent. But for example, the churches aren't decorated. You won't find flower decorations in normal Catholic churches besides the Advent wreath. And the priests are wearing the purple vestments. It's always a sign, oh, a Lent is going on, a preparation is going on. It's not a big feast right now. Yeah, usually, for example, weddings don't happen in these times. Especially not the Lent before Easter. Yeah. Okay, that was a little bit much about the word of the day. Advent, arrival. Now that we were talking about Advent, I thought I would like to share with you my Advent knitting plans. I already told you that my goal is to finish the things I have to knit. So this and wait, you're not allowed to see this, and this. To finish this before the Advent starts. So before Advent starts, I would have a little bit more than a week. Before the Advent calendars start, 2 weeks. And if I finished them, and the one I have to finish by the end of the month for blocked, I could, indulge into Advent knitting. So what do I mean by that? I enjoy very easy, mindless is a word I don't like. Yeah, let's say easy patterns with instant gratification, like scrappy projects, for example, or Christmas yarn, or little projects, or whatever, something without deadlines. So, and I would like to enjoy these kind of projects during Advent. I have swapped, or I'm still in the swapping progress with 4 ladies. So we swapped 4 Advent calendars. I have never bought an InstaKnitNight Advent calendar. I bought the yarn Advent calendar by Opal Yarns, but they are discontinued. And since they are discontinued, I always, every year, swap with yarny friends from the internet. It's a thing you can still do in the US. I mean, if you're quick, you can still, or maybe a 12 days of Christmas Advent, or maybe for next year. I pretty much always pick the people I want to swap with very early, sometimes already the year before. So yeah, I'm safe and have an Advent calendar with yarn filled the next year. This year, 3 of my, was it the Blanket Buddies group? I think so. 3 of my Blanket Buddies and I decided very spontaneously to swap Advent calendars, but very, very low expectations. Only leftovers. You don't have to skein them up. You don't have to add treats or anything, because the years before I did it very, very fancy, always a tea or a chocolate and yarn and something special for the Advent Sundays. But this year I wanted to make it a little bit easier. And so I will have 4 yarn Advent calendars, but not bought ones, just swapped ones. Leftovers. Simple leftovers. And I enjoy this very much. So you can have the fun of opening everything without spending $200 on, I don't know, 200 gram of yarn or so. And I have no Advent projects in this sense that I say, with this Advent calendar I will knit this project, and with this, knit this, because this would be too overwhelming for me. This commitment to knit every day in a specific project can be a little bit, yeah, it can take the fun away, in my opinion. If you say you have to keep up, and then maybe you don't like the yarn, or I don't know, the yarns don't go well together. So, I mean, it is fun, but if you do this with 4 Advent calendars, I don't know, I couldn't do this. I just couldn't do. So that's why I just want to focus on my Cozy Memories blanket, you know, this one. And if the Advent calendars contain colors which fit into my next blocks, I see me starting the next 4 blocks. I think 4 blocks are left, maybe parallelly, so I can add a fitting color to the corresponding block. That is a possibility. But I have other Advent projects as well. Here is in my Advent or Christmas bag by my friend Karina, who I met in Vienna as well. It was lovely to see her again. I have my crochet Christmas cowl. If you remember, I worked on it during the Summer of Murder, I think, and the Christmas in July knit along by Dana Ray Makes. It's done. It's nearly done. I have only this much left, and it's very easy crocheting, and it would be amazing. It's fun to work on it, and I could wear it during the season. So this is one of my Advent projects I want to work on. The next Advent project I talked about already, but I show you the next color of my next block. Light grays and yeah, whites, or yarn with much white or gray. This is my next block. I still have this in my Westie bag. It will be hard for me to swap it out, but I think I will during Vlogmas. I will swap all my current projects, or my current project bags. I will swap them to with, against, whatever, Christmas bags. Then I have, oh yes, this is optional. I maybe I knit my pattern from last year, my mystery knit along pattern from last year. The sock made out of, or divided in 9 clues, and this year I knitted it up with this year's colors of my Advent mystery knit along. And maybe I knit the second sock during Advent, so day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this is doable because the patterns are very easy. In 9 days. Doing something 9 days is not so difficult. This year's mystery knit along you can still buy, but the yarns, these you see here, are sold out already. Has 12 clues. Because it's a cowl, the knitting time is longer than for a sock, but therefore you have 2 days time. So I think, and you can also say, I don't care, I knit on after Christmas, or start after Christmas and knit 12 days of Christmas. So it's very easy cheesy and easy going. You only need 5 different colors, 5 different unique colors, and I use these traditional Christmas colors. By the way, This was our Lent cowl I'm wearing right now. This was a mystery knit along as well, and we knit this over 7 weeks. And this is available on my website, andanita.com. And it only uses 2 colors and 2 skeins of yarn. So this, then you saw this project before, but I changed my mind about it. Okay, this is one of my favorite projects. It's my Opal Cozy Memories blanket. Ta-da! And here you see why it's possible, or how I knit, how I decided to knit a Cozy Memories blanket with self-striping yarn like these. You know, they create these tiny squares always with the striping, but without having a busy look or untidy look. I just framed them with white. I saw this on the Ina Knits podcast. But I decided to make something else out of it. And it will be a pattern in my shop. It will be very exciting, but I will work on it, I think, during Advent, because it's so much fun. I'm only using Opal leftovers and Opal minis, and I will make something else with it, and it will be exciting. It will be so exciting. Yeah, and this will be a pattern for the shop. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. I think I still need to add, for the project I have in mind, 10? Yeah, 10 minis. I only stopped working on it because of my other Cozy Memories blanket I want to make progress on first. And the last project, oh wait, I have my Christmas cowl we knit this year as a mystery knit along. You can get on Etsy, and I think on my website as well. If not, I will put it on my website. Wait, can I show you? Okay, here is a sneak peek. Okay, I won't show you more. Yeah, it's very much fun. You can knit it along with us, or whenever you want. The last project I put aside because of other projects I had to make progress on is my beloved Granny Ripple blanket. Oh, I can't wait to work on this again. This will be one of my Advent projects. This is so much fun. Maybe I do 1 stripe on this and 1 square on my Cozy Memories blanket every day or so. This is so much fun. I measured and calculated, and this is 1/3 of the length I need. Right? 2, 4, 6, 60, 120, 180. Yeah, so this length I have to add twice more, and then this blanket is done. And these are all leftovers, well, leftovers, all complete balls, but from my temperature blanket. I will show you after this. And a Christmas blanket I made. Here you see them. And it's so much fun. And when I have done this, it's all the planning here. I really would like to make another Christmas blanket. I think out of Stylecraft, but maybe not in the traditional Christmas colors, because I made one already, but in more modern Christmas colors, like with, I can't really, maybe I can put a color palette on the screen. I haven't decided on how many colors I want to use, or how many shades. So now I'm covered under this blanket. This is lovely. But I would like to work on a Christmas blanket again. I love Christmas projects and Christmas blankets and Christmas yarn and Christmas patterns and Christmas. It's a wonderful time. I won't say the most wonderful time of the year, because I love Easter so much. You know, we don't have the world celebrating Easter so much, so we don't have like a lot of Easter movies or Easter songs or Easter candy or so, as during Advent and Christmas. But the celebrating of the church is so amazing. and exciting, and it takes a whole week to celebrate Easter, and then 50 days of Easter time until we have Pentecost, and it is so I can't say Christmas or Advent is the most wonderful time of the year, but it's definitely the most magical time of the year that I would say. So now these colors lead me to, oh, aren't they amazing? I can't wait to work on them. Really, I'm so looking forward to Advent. Now I can show you my temperature blanket. It's time for the showcase blanket. If you remember, I made these blanket videos and like blanket talks for our blanket Anna blanket along. Hashtag Anna blanket along. You can win a set of minis. But then I wasn't continuing because of COVID and wedding, and then I fell off and thought, okay, I would just add the blanket talk in the normal videos. And here is my temperature blanket. Have you ever made a temperature project? It's a hate and love relationship. No, not hate and love at the same time. I think it's a very dividing topic. So the one people love temperature projects and the other people hate them. Okay, there are several reasons why you could hate temperature projects. First of all, you're committing to a project and working on it every single day for a whole year. And you will fall off. You will get behind. I promise you will. But it's not a disaster. The second reason why some people don't enjoy temperature blankets or temperature projects in general are the colors. But you are free. You are free to choose all the colors. I decided to use a relatively modern but still traditional color palette. So red for the very hot days, as you see here, and orange for the still hot days, and blues for the very cold days, and for the middle temperatures here we have these fuchsia and pinks and purples and so on. This blanket was made in 2019, and I was late to the game because usually you start in January and I started in March, and I finished it I think by the end of February or so the next year. So I worked on it 12 months or about-ish. I did write it down, 15 different Stylecraft Special DK colors. I will put my color palette here on the screen. I didn't use the white. That would make 16 different. The idea was I could use the white for when it snows, but then I thought I need something for rain as well, so I decided only to do temperature. I always took the highest temperature of the day. I had a weather station, an online weather station, where I looked up every day, and you can also look up past days and years even. And I had a sheet and I wrote down every day which the highest temperature was at that day on that specific temperature weather station. And so I was able to work if I missed working on it for a day or two or weeks. I think I had to catch up. So in the beginning I had to catch up 3 months. So, but that is okay because I was so motivated. When you start such a big project, you're so motivated. It's no problem to work 3 months. So to, you know what I mean. And I used a 3.5mm hook and worked the seat stitch. If you are thinking about making such a project, keep in mind that you have 365 rows. So you have to do your math, calculate correctly. If you do, for example, something like this, you will have a 3 meter long blanket, and that is way too long. Even for the cover of a bed, 3 meters is too long, or even over 3 meters. So I made a swatch, and this seat stitch, how can I say that? Let's say it measures 1/2 centimeter, the one row, so 1/2 centimeter, and the second row as well. But they don't come together like this, the rows. because of the nature of the stitch, they come together like this. So you don't have 1 centimeter, you have maybe only, I don't even know, again, I don't even know if it's a centimeter, all in all. Because that would make over 300 centimeters. No, not because it's divided by 2. Okay, great. Let's say this would make a centimeter, so this would make maybe 3/4 of a centimeter. So you are saving length, so your blanket won't be too long. If you do triples, British terms, or double crochets in American terms, you would add up very long stitches onto each other, and your blanket will be huge. So you have to use a very tiny needle, because this is DK weight yarn. You can also use fingering weight yarn and your calculations will be different, but that is something you have to keep in mind. You have to use a stitch that is not very tall. Okay, I don't know if this is January or December. Okay. It was a very hot summer. It was a very hot summer, yeah. This was Vienna. I took the measurements, the temperatures from Vienna. I think this is January, yeah. And the width, I don't know if it's, I guess it's too long. Yeah, it's too long. It's, I would say 130 centimeters. I'm sorry, we used the metric system, and I can't say these things in inch and weights and ounces, and then the needle sizes aren't even in inches, in something completely different. The metric system is so much easier. I'm sorry, I don't know everything, not all your measurements. So if I do this, the length of my arm span is 140 centimeters, and it's a little bit less than this. So it's the perfect size. Oh, I wrote it down. From March 28, I worked from March 28, 2018 to February 23rd, 2019. So these are the temperatures from 2018, when I lived in Vienna. Okay. Okay, yeah, that is my blanket, so you know that. Maybe you want to start in January. Some people also do granny squares, tiny granny squares every day. Some people use the temperature they measure every day at 12 o'clock on their terrace. Some people add rain and snow, for example, with a second thread that is shimmery. Yeah, there are many possibilities. You can type in YouTube temperature projects, for example. You can make a cowl, you can make so many different things. Now I want to show you quickly these 2 collections, and then I want to answer 2 questions you asked me. So let me grab these yarns. First I will show you the sport weight yarn. I have them both in my shop now, and the sport weight yarn, I wrote the pattern for blocked, but as I told you, you can knit all my patterns in fingering weight, sport weight and DK weight. So it doesn't matter which yarn you buy, you can knit all my patterns. Okay, now I will show you what I mean with the pretty tags they have. They have tags for every collection. So this is Fantastic Sky, and the colorway is oof. I tried to translate it in English, but I have no clue. Star Rain or so. Okay, just a quick show. This is very amazing. This is not a colorway I see often. You see, every colorway has another tag. So this is Foggy Horizon, and that's why you see a foggy horizon on the tag. It's amazing. This is, oh my gosh, Heaven's Roof, Protecting Heaven's Roof or so. This is amazing. This is typical Opal. These are the traditional Opal colors in my opinion, but amazing. This is called Fast Book Journey. Okay, and now the DK collection. So that collection was called Fantastic Sky, and the following collection is called X Large Wild Winter. DK yarn only, Opal offers DK yarn only once a year. So, as you know, when they sell out, they are sold out. Starry Winter Night. These are cute. They have these snowmen. I can't translate them all, sorry. They have very special names. Very cute ones. This is amazing. Here you see the knit up always. You can always see how these skeins or balls of yarn knit up in my shop. I always add these photos in my listings. Oh, this is so pretty. This is a very cute colorway name. Zuckersüß Sweet, Sugar Sweet, Frostberry. That's a very good name for this colorway in my opinion. I see that. And I like these speckled ones. These are the collections that are in my shop. And just here, as a side note, here are all my Christmas bags for my Advent projects. I'm looking forward to swap these out very much. So now we come to the last segment of this video, the questions. Ask me anything. You asked, does your partner accept your knitting or is he teasing you? That is a good question, because I know from many women that they hide their yarn from their husband. They hide their stash because the husband makes fun of them or thinks the woman is spending too much money on the yarn. And I don't have this problem at all. Tommy knows exactly how much yarn I have, and I have a lot of yarn. I don't buy so much yarn, I have to say, because I get a lot yarn for gifted, and I have the Opal subscription, so he knows that. And I mostly buy if I want to make specific projects. But even if I bought more, he wouldn't care. And he is very knit worthy. And when he sees me, when I sit down, for example, in the evenings, and he's reading the newspaper or surfing on his phone or so, and I sit down and knit, he often stops and says, "Oh, it's so cozy when you knit." So I'm like a decor for the flat when I'm sitting and knitting. So he appreciates it very much. He appreciates that I make presents for his family and for him. He has received a Weasley sweater from me, several pairs of socks. Today for his birthday he received a hand-dyed and hand-knit hat. He appreciates it a lot. He's never teasing me. In German we have, no one says it anymore, old people. He used to say, maybe, I don't know, in the 70s or 80s or so, maybe it was normal to say, "You are a cool sock." Du bist eine coole Socke, we say in German. Du bist eine coole Socke. That is someone who is very cool and, you know, is making music and is like, I see the 80s vibes when I hear "you are a cool sock." And he's saying this to me, "You are a very cool sock." And I always say, "No, I only knit socks." "Yeah, but that's why you are a cool sock." So no, he is not teasing me at all. And I'm very sorry for all the women out there who have to go through that. In my opinion, it's a warning sign. If you're not married to this man and he is making fun of you, he is really making fun of you knitting and being excited about knitting, break up. I mean, really, if knitting is a very important thing in your life and you have your things done, and you have your work, and you do your chores and everything, and in your free time you enjoy knitting and making gifts for people and buying yarn, and you don't spend more money than you have, and he is teasing you about that. That's my opinion. That's not a healthy relationship, in my opinion, because you could think it the other way around. What is his hobby? What is he spending money on? And are you making fun of it? Or how would he feel if you made fun of it? No, Tommy is not making fun of anything I do. No, sometimes he thinks things I do and say are cute. When I get excited about knit-alongs, for example. Sometimes he is asking, what was this knit-along about? Could you just tell me again? And then I start talking and get very excited, and he is smirking, and I realize, okay, he only asked so he sees me being excited again. Yeah, no, he loves that I knit. He appreciates it a lot. Also the blankets I made and so on. He's not putting them away when his friends come over or anything, you know. The second question, living on the countryside or in the city? So I don't know if the question means, are you living on the countryside or in the city, or do you prefer one or other? So both. Here in Germany, I'm living on the countryside in eastern Thuringia, between two, I would say, small cities. The people here would say big cities. When you lived in Vienna, every other city is very small. Seems very small. I'm living in the countryside, and I prefer to live. I don't want to live in the city ever again, ever again. So I grew up in Oldenburg, and Oldenburg has 65,000 inhabitants. That is okay, but Oldenburg is very special because nearly everyone in Oldenburg has a terrace, a garden, or a balcony. So it's very rarely the case that someone only hocks, it's a German word, sitting in his flat and surrounded by concrete buildings or anything, you know. Oldenburg is a very green city, also politic-wise, unfortunately, but it's green. I mean, you have meadows and trees and, yeah, farmers and so on. So that is nice. If I find a city like Oldenburg again, I would move to the city, but every other city I see in Germany I've been to is, yeah, typical city. Too many people, too few or too little space, neighbors way too close to you. That is a thing I don't enjoy here so much as well, because also we are living in a flat. We have a terrace and a balcony, but we are living in a flat, so we have very close neighbors. And my dream would be a house and the next neighbor like 500 meter or 1 kilometer away. That would be the ideal for me. I don't know, I need the space, I need the quiet, I need nature. And for example, going shopping, like for groceries or running errands, everything is slower and easier on the countryside. If you are, it doesn't matter on which day or at which time you go run errands in Vienna, it's always stressful. There are always people, they are always in a hurry, they are always grumpy. So, and that is typical for cities, in my opinion. You know, at the checkout in the supermarket, for example, in a village, they're doing it like meep, 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 and you start to talk with the checkout lady or with the other people who are waiting. Or you don't even have to talk. It's just everything is relaxed. And in the city, it's like meep, 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 and open the next checkout. And why are you waiting? Why does it take so long? And blah, 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 and everyone is grumpy and. Whew, I'm not made for the city. I am not made for the city at all. And that is everything for today. This country girl says goodbye. Have a nice 2 weeks, I would say. No, Vlogmas will be earlier then. So I will do Vlogmas. I will do daily Vlogmas. I didn't talk about it yet. Sorry. I will make a Vlogmas video, an extra Vlogmas video. And now I will prepare everything for my husband's birthday. We will have a Greek dinner. I like to make Mittagssauce, and I have to tidy up everything and edit this podcast and manage the shop update. I'm looking forward to read from you in the comments down below. What do you think? Is living on the countryside more enjoyable, or are you a city boy or city girl? What are the advantages in your opinion? And is your husband or your partner teasing you regarding your stash and knitting habits? Let me know. Until very soon. Bye bye.